Tony Blair pontificated about misinformation this week, hinting that Twitter, or X as it's supposed to be called now, should be banned because people on it sometimes share fake news. It's a bit rich to be lectured on the harms of misinformation by a man who invaded Iraq based on Alistair Campbell's dodgy dossier. It's like taking babysitting advice from Jimmy Savile. Instead of banning Twitter, maybe we should ban Alistair Campbell in case he erroneously claims another Middle Eastern leader is hiding weapons of mass destruction. I've seen some dodgy stuff on Twitter, but I've never seen a tweet lead to a drone strike on an Iraqi wedding. Have a look at this.
But do you foresee a point in the not too distant future where other countries are going to have to follow Brazil's lead and take actual action against platform owners for the dissemination of disinformation?
Well, I certainly see a position where the world's going to have to come together and agree some rules around social media platforms. And I think that's, quite what the answer is and what the right system of regulation is, I'm not sure, but I'm sure there should be, and there's got to be, because it's not just how people can provoke hostility and hatred, but I think, and I don't know what the answer to this is. I'm just saying that I don't.
We can't carry on as we are.
But we can't carry on as we are, and I think the impact on young people, particularly when they got access to mobile phones very young, and they're reading a whole lot of stuff and receiving a whole lot of stuff that I think is really messing with their minds in a big way. And as I say, I'm not sure what the answer to it is, but I'm sure we need to find one.
I know it looks like Tony Blair is now doing outreach work with homeless alcoholics, but that slob was in fact left-wing journalist James O'Brien. This is a humiliation ritual for Blair. He used to have status. He used to hobnob with the Epstein Island client list. Now he's blabbering his increasingly unhinged authoritarianism to a greasy tramp on a radio station. James O'Brien's belly led to an absolutely fantastic Pepe meme, by the way. Twitter, or X, has been threatened by the European Union and banned completely in Brazil. This is hailed by the left as preserving democracy by stopping misinformation and stopping the far right. In reality, it's a cover for the suppression of political opponents. Twitter was taken down in Brazil when Elon Musk refused to comply with dodgy court orders to remove accounts, including members of Brazil's Congress who are in opposition to the ruling far-left party. It would be like Keir Starmer removing the Tories from Twitter. Actually, I probably shouldn't give Keir Starmer any ideas. The left spread plenty of misinformation of their own and have a history of suppressing inconvenient facts. Alistair Campbell appears to have spread a far-left conspiracy theory about Trump's ear healing miraculously quickly, suggesting that he actually wasn't shot. And Labour MP Josh Fenton Glynn shared a dangerous hoax recently that British men were throwing acid in Muslim women's faces, even though a quick sense check would make you think, have acid attacks historically been carried out by British men against Muslim women? The Democrats colluded with Twitter's previous owners to remove factual journalism about President Biden's son's use of crack and prostitutes, which would have damaged Joe Biden's chances of getting elected. Mark Zuckerberg apologised recently for bowing to pressure from the Biden administration to remove satire about COVID-19. And just this week, the government in this country refused to tell journalists how much they'd spent furnishing luxury flats for illegal immigrants, saying that it's too sensitive to reveal, even though the reason that it's sensitive is the reason we deserve to know. Across the world, freedom of speech is under attack, but not just from dictators and communists like in China. In the supposedly free democratic West, authoritarian left-wing governments are using restrictions on free speech to censor their critics and clip the wings of their political enemies. America plans to ban TikTok. French authorities arrested the head of social media app Telegram over claims that the app facilitates criminal behaviour, but they're not investigating other apps which are accused of the same stuff. I mean, look at WhatsApp, Facebook, pretty much all of them are used for criminal behaviour. The European Union is threatening to shut down Twitter, or X, because it hosts misinformation and racism. But who gets to decide what's misinformation or what's racist? In Britain, judges have jailed people for sharing grossly offensive memes, which is ridiculous. We should have the freedom to offend, and it's such a subjective term. One man was sent down for sharing memes basically saying the population of Asian men in his town would be increasing, which is just a fact, but apparently noticing that something is happening is now a crime. In Malaysia, posts about religion have to be cleared by the Islamic morality police. Many countries are seeking to weaken the encryption that keeps communication private, for example on WhatsApp. We shouldn't restrict freedom of speech. We need the freedom to be wrong so that we can have the freedom to be right. We don't achieve truth by letting petty bureaucrats decide what is and isn't truth. We also need freedom of speech to keep our governments in line. Look at the Arab Spring. The uprisings against harsh authoritarian governments were helped by social media and messaging apps which were shut down by those governments. Now our supposedly free countries want to copy those Arab dictatorships? I think we need a Western Spring. And if you want to know what people really think, you need to let them speak freely. The riots in the UK weren't caused by social media, but they were foreshadowed by it. And the left should worry about the precedent that they are setting because it could come back and bite them on the arse. If they censor right-wing politicians, what's to stop those right-wing politicians censoring the left when they're in power? Anyway, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, and if you want to support me making these videos and get exclusive content and be part of a nice community of the only sane people left in the West, then sign up to my Patreon. There's a link below. And if you'd rather just buy me a pumpkin spice chai latte, then there's a link for that too. Oh, by the way, if you want to feel some proper Black Mirror style doom, apparently kids are saying like and subscribe now when they say goodbye to each other, because that's what people say at the end of YouTube videos. Okay, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye bye.